The famous history of the life of King Henry VIII, Act 4. Scene 1. Enter two gentlemen meeting one another. Gentlemen 1. You're well met once again. So are you. You come to take your stand here and behold the Lady Anne pass from her coronation. 'Tis all my business. At our last encounter the Duke of Buckingham came from his trial. 'Tis very true, but that time offered sorrow, this general joy. 'Tis well, the citizens, I am sure, have shown at full their royal minds, as let 'em have their rights. They are ever forward in celebration of this day with shows, pageants, and sights of honor. Never greater, nor I'll assure you, better taken, sir. May I be bold to ask what that contains, that paper in your hand? Yes, 'tis the list of those that claim their offices this day by custom of the coronation. The Duke of Suffolk is the first, and claims to be High Steward. Next, the Duke of Norfolk, he to be Earl Marshal. You may read the rest. I thank you, sir. Had I not known those customs, I should have been beholding to your paper. But I beseech you, what's become of Catherine, the Princess Dowager? How goes her business? That I can tell you too. The Archbishop of Canterbury, accompanied with other learned and reverend fathers of his order, held a late court at Dunstable, 6 miles off from Ampthill, where the princess lay, to which she was often cited by them, but appeared not. And, to be short, for not appearance and the king's late scruple, by the main assent of all these learned men, she was divorced, and the late marriage made of none effect. Since which she was removed to Kimilton, where she remains now sick. Alas, good lady! The trumpets sound. Stand close. The Queen is coming. The order of the coronation. A lively flourish of trumpets. Then 2 judges, Lord Chancellor, with purse and mace before him. Quaestors singing. Music. Mayor of London bearing the mace, then garter in his coat of arms, and on his head he wore a gilt copper crown. Marquess Dorset bearing a sceptre of gold, on his head a demi-coronal of gold, with him the Earl of Surrey bearing the rod of silver with a dove, crowned with an earl's coronet, collars of Essex. Duke of Suffolk, in his robe of estate, his coronet on his head, bearing a long white wand as High Steward, with him the Duke of Norfolk, with the rod of marshalship, a coronet on his head, collars of Essex. A canopy borne by 4 of the Cinque Ports, under it the Queen in her robe, in her hair richly adorned with pearl, crowned. On each side her, the bishops of London and Winchester, the old Duchess of Norfolk, in a coronal of gold, wrought with flowers, bearing the Queen's train. Certain ladies or countesses, with plain circlets of gold with flowers. Exeunt, first passing over the stage in order and state, and then a great flourish of trumpets. A royal train, believe me, these I know. Who's that bears the sceptre? Marquess Dorset, and that the Earl of Surrey with the rod. A bold, brave gentleman, that should be the Duke of Suffolk. 'Tis the same High Steward. And that my Lord of Norfolk? Yes, heaven bless thee! Thou hast the sweetest face I ever looked on. Sir, as I have a soul, she is an angel. Our king has all the Indies in his arms, and more and richer when he strains that lady. I cannot blame his conscience. They that bear the cloth of honor over her are 4 barons of the Cinque Ports. Those men are happy, and so are all are near her. I take it she that carries up the train is that old noble lady, Duchess of Norfolk. It is, and all the rest are countesses. Their coronets say so. These are stars indeed, and sometimes falling ones. No more of that. God save you, sir. Where have you been broiling? Among the crowd of the abbey, where a finger could not be wedged in more. I am stifled with the mere rankness of their joy. You saw the ceremony? That I did. How was it? Well worth seeing. Good sir, speak it to us, as well as I am able. The rich stream of lords and ladies, having brought the queen to a prepared palace in the choir, fell off a distance from her, while her grace sate down to rest awhile, some half an hour or so, in a rich chair of state, opposing freely the beauty of her person to the people. Believe me, sir, she is the goodliest woman that ever lay by man, which when the people had the full view of, such a noise arose as the shrouds make at sea in a stiff tempest, as loud and to as many tunes, hats, cloaks, doublets, I think, flew up, and had their faces been loose, this day they had been lost. Such joy I never saw before. Great-bellied women, that had not half a week to go, like rams in the old time of war, would shake the press and make 'em reel before 'em. No man living could say, "This is my wife," there, and all were woven so strangely in one piece. But what followed? At length her grace rose, and with modest paces came to the altar, where she kneeled, and saint-like cast her fair eyes to heaven, and prayed devoutly, then rose again and bowed her to the people. When by the Archbishop of Canterbury she had all the royal makings of a queen, as holy oil, Edward Confessor's crown, the rod and bird of peace, and all such emblems laid nobly on her, which performed the choir with all the choicest music of the kingdom, together sung Te Deum. So she parted, and with the same full state packed back again to York Place, where the feast is held. Sir, you must no more call it York Place, that's past, for since the cardinal fell that title's lost. 'Tis now the king's, and called Whitehall. I know it, but 'tis so lately altered that the old name is fresh about me. What 2 reverend bishops were those that went on each side of the queen? Stokesley and Gardiner, the one of Winchester, newly preferred from the king's secretary, the other London. He of Winchester is held no great good lover of the archbishops, the virtuous Cranmer. All the land knows that. However, yet there is no great breach. When it comes, Cranmer will find a friend, will not shrink from him. Who may that be, I pray you? Thomas Cromwell, a man in such much esteem with the king, and truly a worthy friend. The king has made him master of the jewel house, and one already of the privy council. He will deserve more. Yes, without all doubt. Come, gentlemen, ye shall go my way, which is to the court, and there ye shall be my guests. Something I can command. As I walk thither, I'll tell ye more. You may command us, sir. Scene 2. Enter Catherine, dowager, sick, led between Griffith, her gentleman usher, and Patience, her woman. Griffith. How does your grace? Oh, Griffith, sick to death! My legs are like loaden branches bowed to the earth, willing to leave their burthen. Reach a chair. So now methinks I feel a little ease. Didst thou not tell me, Griffith, as thou leddest me, that the great child of honour, Cardinal Wolsey, was dead? Yes, madame, but I think your grace, out of the pain you suffered, gave no ear to it. Prithee, good Griffith, tell me how he died. If well, he stepped before me happily for my example. Well, the voice goes, madame, for after the stout Earl Northumberland arrested him at York, and brought him forward, as a man sorely tainted, to his answer, he fell sick suddenly, and grew so ill he could not sit his mule. Alas, poor man! At last, with easy roads, he came to Leicester, lodged in the abbey, where the reverend abbot with all his convent honourably received him, to whom he gave these words: O Father Abbot, an old man, broken with the storms of state, is come to lay his weary bones among ye. Give him a little earth for charity. So went to bed, where eagerly his sickness pursued him still, and 3 nights after this, about the hour of 8, which he himself foretold should be his last, full of repentance, continual meditations, tears, and sorrows, he gave his honours to the world again, his blessed part to heaven, and slept in peace. So may he rest, his faults lie gently on him. Yet thus far, Griffith, give me leave to speak him, and yet with charity. He was a man of an unbounded stomach, ever ranking himself with princes, one that by suggestion tied all the kingdom. Simony was fair play. His own opinion was his law. The presence he would say untruths, and be ever double, both in his words and meaning. He was never, but where he meant to ruin, pitiful. His promises were, as he then was, mighty, but his performance, as he is now, nothing. Of his own body he was ill, and gave the clergy ill example. Noble madame, men's evil manners live in brass, their virtues we write in water. May it please your highness to hear me speak his good now? Yes, good Griffith, I were malicious else. This cardinal, though from an humble stock, undoubtedly was fashioned to much honour. From his cradle he was a scholar, and a ripe and good one, exceeding wise, fair spoken, and persuading, lofty and sour to them that loved him not, but to those men that sought him, sweet as summer. And though he were unsatisfied in getting, which was a sin, yet in bestowing, madame, he was most princely. Ever witness for him those twins of learning that he raised in you, Ipswich and Oxford, one of which fell with him, unwilling to outlive the good that did it. The other, though unfinished, yet so famous, so excellent in art, and still so rising, that Christendom shall ever speak his virtue. His overthrow heaped happiness upon him, for then, and not till then, he felt himself, and found the blessedness of being little, and to add greater honours to his age than man could give him, he died fearing God. After my death I wish no other herald, no other speaker of my living actions, to keep mine honour from corruption, but such an honest chronicler as Griffith, whom I most hated living, thou hast made me, with thy religious truth and modesty, now in his ashes honor. Peace be with him. Patience be near me still, and set me lower. I have not long to trouble thee, good Griffith. Cause the musicians play me that sad note I named my knell, whilst I sit meditating on that celestial harmony I go to. She is asleep, good wench. Let's sit down quiet, for fear we wake her. Softly, gentle Patience. The vision. Enter solemnly, tripping one after another, 6 personages clad in white robes, wearing on their heads garlands of bays, and golden vizards on their faces, branches of bays or palm in their hands. They first conjee unto her, then dance, and at certain changes the first 2 hold a spare garland over her head, at which the other 4 make reverend curtsies. Then the 2 that held the garland deliver the same to the other next 2, who observe the same order in their changes, and holding the garland over her head. Which done, they deliver the same garland to the last 2, who likewise observe the same order, at which, as it were by inspiration, she makes, in her sleep, signs of rejoicing, and holdeth up her hands to heaven. And so in their dancing vanish, carrying the garland with them. The music continues. Catherine. Spirits of peace, where are ye? Are ye all gone? And leave me here in wretchedness behind ye. Madame, we are here. It is not you I call for. Saw ye none enter since I slept? None, madame. No. Saw you not even now a blessed troop invite me to a banquet, whose bright faces cast 1,000 beams upon me like the sun? They promised me eternal happiness, and brought me garlands, Griffith, which I feel I am not worthy yet to wear. I shall assuredly. I am most joyful, madame, such good dreams possess your fancy. Bid the music leave, they are harsh and heavy to me. Music ceases. Do you note how much her grace is altered on the sudden? How long her face is drawn? How pale she looks, and of an earthly cold? Mark her eyes. She is going, wench, pray, pray. Heaven comfort her. And it like your grace. You are a saucy fellow, deserve we no more reverence? You are to blame, knowing she will not lose her wonted greatness, to use so rude behavior. Go to, kneel. I humbly do entreat your highness's pardon. My haste made me unmannerly. There is staying a gentleman, sent from the king, to see you. Admit him entrance, Griffith, but this fellow let me never see again. If my sight fail not, you should be Lord Ambassador from the Emperor, my royal nephew, and your name Capucius. Madame, the same, your servant. O my lord, the times and titles now are altered strangely with me since first you knew me. But I pray you, what is your pleasure with me? Noble lady, first mine own service to your grace, the next, the king's request that I would visit you, who grieves much for your weakness, and by me sends you his princely commendations, and heartily entreats you take good comfort. O my good lord, that comfort comes too late, 'tis like a pardon after execution. That gentle physic given in time had cured me, but now I am past all comforts here but prayers. How does his highness? Madame, in good health. So may he ever do, and ever flourish, when I shall dwell with worms, and my poor name banished the kingdom. Patience, is that letter I cause you write yet sent away? No, madame. Sir, I most humbly pray you to deliver this to my lord the king. Most willingly, madame, in which I have commended to his goodness the model of our chaste loves and his young daughter. The dews of heaven fall thick in blessings on her, beseeching him to give her virtuous breeding. She is young, and of a noble, modest nature. I hope she will deserve well, and a little to love her for her mother's sake, that loved him, heaven knows how dearly. My next poor petition is, that his noble grace would have some pity upon my wretched woman, so that so long have followed both my virtues faithfully, of which there is not one. I dare avow, and now I should not lie, but will deserve, for virtue and true beauty of the soul, for honesty and decent carriage, a right good husband, let him be a noble, and sure those men are happy that shall have 'em. The last is for my men, they are the poorest, but poverty could never draw 'em from me, that they may have their wages duly paid 'em, and something over to remember me by. If heaven had pleased to have given me longer life and able means, we had not parted thus. These are the whole contents, and, good Lord, by that you love the dearest in this world, as you wish Christian peace to souls departed, stand these poor people's friend, and urge the king to do me this last right. By heaven I will, or let me lose the fashion of a man. I thank you, honest Lord. Remember me in all humility unto his highness. Say his long trouble now is passing out of this world. Tell him in death I blessed him, for so I will. Mine eyes grow dim. Farewell, my lord. Griffith, farewell. Nay, Patience, you must not leave me yet. I must to bed. Call in more women. When I am dead, good wench, let me be used with honor. Strew me over with maiden flowers, that all the world may know I was a chaste wife to my grave. Embalm me, then lay me forth, although unqueened, yet like a queen, and daughter to a king. Enter me, I can no more. End of Act 4. Amen. Praise be to God. Jesus Christ. Jah Rastafari. Bless William Shakespeare.